Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie Colours. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me today. I am doing episode 23 of our full book colour along in RJ Hampson's gorgeous book Awake. This one is called Storm Flowers and I think it's going to be a fun one to do. As always, I'm using my Ohuhu markers. I think we'll add a touch of white gel pen and that's probably about it for this page. Keep it nice and simple. I'm going to start with my flowers. So I'm going to use Y2, Y050 and Y030. So I'm going to use the yellow combination on this bigger petaled flower first. So as always, I like to start with my darkest colour and just add a bit of kind of shadow in various places, and then I'll blend out with the lighter one. And yeah, we are nearly halfway through this book now. Nearly, not quite. Got another couple of pages to do and we will be halfway through, which I think is quite exciting. Yeah, it's gone quite quick actually. I can't believe we're in 2025 already. The last year just flew by. I kind of can't keep up with how fast time is going at the moment. Everything seems to be rushing by. I hope you are all keeping well. I hope you are keeping warm if you are in colder areas of the world. It has been surprisingly cold here in the UAE, which it doesn't happen very often. We don't really get cold weather. I mean, we get a little bit of cooler weather in the winter months, but it's nowhere near as cold as other parts of the world. But we have been getting kind of as cold as like 12 degrees Celsius, that is, which is pretty chilly for us. And it has kind of definitely felt pretty cold. I am wearing jumpers at the moment. Yeah, it's not as cold as I know it gets in other parts of the world, but it's surprising how much you feel it when you're not used to it. So yeah, we've been getting some cooler weather. It's still nice during the day. We still get up to like 25, 26 degrees Celsius during the day, so it's still pretty warm here in the daytime. But in the mornings and the evenings when the sun goes down, it gets pretty chilly. And up in the mountains, it can get pretty cold around here. So yeah, believe it or not, for us, it's definitely been winter weather. We've been snuggling up in our jumpers, not quite, coats and hats and that scarves and that sort of thing. We're not quite there, although there are some people wearing coats and hats and scarves I have seen. I'm not quite at that point, just a jumper instead of a t-shirt. But yeah, it's nice. It's actually been really nice. It's nice to have some fresher, cooler weather. I've been enjoying it. Just gonna feel like I haven't blended that one out very well. I'm just gonna go back over that again with the mid-tone. And then I'll move on to the other petals. So I'm just doing each petal before I move on to the next. And I just find it easier to work when you're working with alcohol markers. I find it easier to work in smaller areas at a time rather than trying to do one large area. Alcohol markers work best, when the paper is a little bit wet. So they work best when there's plenty of ink on the paper and they can kind of move around and blend with each other. So working in a smaller area works best for alcohol markers. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the colour along, I hope that you will check out the other videos. As I say, we're up to part 23, so we're quite a long way through already. Yeah, we've had some fun pages. I've been really enjoying this little project book that I've been working in and getting a page done every week. I tend to film a couple of pages at once. So I tend to do like 2 pages in one go. And yeah, it goes pretty quick. I've been really enjoying it and have had a lot of fun with it. I hope for whoever is joining in. I hope you are enjoying it as well. I have seen some lovely finished pages. I've really enjoyed seeing your work as well. Okay, so there's our yellow flower done. I think for this one I'm going to go for purples, just for something a little bit different. So I have V270, V250 and V230, and these petals are a little bit smaller, so I might do a couple of petals at a time rather than doing one, just to stop from clicking the lids over and over again. But I'm just going to use the same principle, add a bit of darker shader at the bottom, then go in with my mid-tone and finish up with my lightest colour at the edges. You can mix it up, you can make it darker at the edges. Sometimes that looks quite cool as well. I always kind of forget to do that and just tend to go with darkest toward the centre. But do as you see fit, make it your own. Change the colours up if you want. You don't have to do purples and yellows. You can do pinks, reds, blues, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I just thought I'd do yellow and purple. I tend to go for pink flowers. I think I was saying when we did, there was another flower that we did. It was a pink flower with the little bees, so picking champagne sitting on it, and I did that one in a kind of pinkish colour. I tend to go for pink. I don't know why. It just seems to be the colour that I reach for when I think of flowers. So I thought today I'd kind of go out of the box a little bit and do something a bit different and do purple and yellow. I was going to say pink and yellow, purple and yellow for a change, for something a little bit different. And I think the purple and yellow work quite nicely together. So as always, I have printed my pages out on a Transitite Perfect colouring paper. So rather than buying the book, because I couldn't actually find the book online here, I could only go online and download it from RJ Hampson's website. So I don't have the book, which is why I have printed mine onto Transitite Perfect colouring paper, which is a very smooth cardstock designed for alcohol marker colouring. And yeah, so the alcohol markers work really well on a really smooth cardstock because the ink kind of doesn't sink through and it sits on the surface for a little bit, making it much easier to blend. But use what you have. If you have the book, well done for finding it, because I couldn't find it. I think it is available. Well, actually, I saw the other book, Asleep, was available on Amazon here now, so I haven't seen Awake yet. But yeah, if you have the book, no worries. Just the paper might be a little bit different. It might be slightly harder to blend the alcohol markers, but it'll work. It'll be fine. Just go with it. And have fun. That's the main thing. Have fun with it. RJ Hampson did a gorgeous colouring recently on his YouTube and Instagram of the Australian summer page from his book. Was it Hide and Seek? I think it was his book Hide and Seek. It was one of his newer books, and it was so gorgeous. The way he did his water was really amazing. I was quite overwhelmed by that. Okay, so there's the petals of our flowers. We're going to do the centres. Well, I'm going to do my centres in a brown combination. So I have BR1 and E170. Again, I'm going to start with that darkest colour and add a little bit around the edges here. I just chose brown because I thought it was a bit different. Yeah, normally I'd go for like a yellow or orange centre, but I decided that because my other flower was yellow, I would do a brown centre instead. And yeah, I think it works. But again, feel free, change it up if you want, make it your own. So I've only got the 2 markers for this. Feel free to add another marker as well if you wanted to go for a darker mid-tone and a light. I just decided just to use 2 colours for this and keep it really simple. I don't know why they're called storm flowers. I don't know if there's a meaning behind that. I have no idea. Normally R.J. Hampson's titles for his pages are a little bit humorous. They have a bit of a funny element to them, but I can't work this one out. I'm not 100% sure. So if there is a hidden meaning that I've missed, let me know. I don't know. Okay, on to the stems and leaves of my flowers. We're going to do G3, G8 and G120 for those. Is there a nice green combination? So again, starting with my darkest marker and just pulling that out where I want my shadows to be. Then I'll go in with my mid-tone and then the lighter shade around the edges. I'm just keeping this pretty simple. I'm not doing anything fancy. Just pretty basic colouring. And this, if you are new, that is what this entire series is about. Is it's just about doing really basic, simple colouring, having fun, and getting the pages done relatively quickly, and then just enjoying the process. I just thought that these pages were so cute, and I just really wanted to colour them, and I thought, well, I would do a bit of a colour along on my channel, because I am not I want to do more colour alongs and I am a bit nervous about doing colour alongs with pencils, because I don't feel quite so adept with pencils as I do with my alcohol markers. So for those that don't know, I have had a card making channel for several years, well, some years on YouTube, and I've stopped doing it now because colouring has taken over, but I did do quite a lot of colouring with that of stamped images, for which I used alcohol markers. So I do feel quite confident with the alcohol markers, and I feel like I kind of know, I mean, I'm no expert, I don't know everything there is to know about them, but I feel more confident using them and filming with them than I do with pencil, because using pencils and like water-based mediums are still relatively new to me. I say relatively new, I've been doing this for over a year now, but I'm nearly 2 years, I think. God, time's going so quickly, but I still feel like I have a lot to learn, and so I find it, yeah, I guess I find pencils also less forgiving, so I'm a little bit more nervous about doing colour alongs on the channel with those mediums, whereas with alcohol markers I feel a little bit more confident. So yeah. So I decided that I would do a colour along of this book with my alcohol markers, because I felt like it was a little bit easier for me. I'm just going to add a touch of the green at the base here. I'm not doing a background, I'm just going to add a little touch of the green to create a ground, but I'm not going to do a sky, I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm literally just adding a little bit of this green at the bottom to create some sort of ground for my flowers and toadstools and my snail to sit on. And apologies, it sounds like we've got a dog fight going on out there. It's very, lots of dogs barking. I'm going to keep this quite rough. I'm not going to do anything, like I say, nothing fancy here. Let's just keep it pretty simple. Just add a touch of ground. And I need to fill in this area. Sorry, I'm moving my page around. I need to complete this stem here. I'm just going to use the darker colour to fill in that area. Looks a bit crooked. Maybe that's meant to be the stem. I feel like that was meant to be the stem and that was like the sky. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. I kind of jumped in there a bit quickly, didn't I? Let's take our colourless blender, bring it in, I'm going to use this end, and just what we're going to do is I'm literally just going to push it onto that colour and try and push that colour back through the paper onto the other side so that it kind of bleeds out. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll do it a little bit and then we might have to come back to it in a minute. We'll leave it for a sec and let it dry, and we'll come back to it again and see if it's going to work. If not, let's not stress, but I think this bit is the stem because that looks more in line with it, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll come back to it in a sec, but it's not stress. Okay, so there are my flowers. Let's do the toadstools. So I have R2, R1 and R120 for these. Now, normally I would use my favorite red combination, but I decided to mix it up a bit and try a slightly more corally red combination today instead and see how it looked. Just for something a little bit different. Felt like I was using my favorite red combination, which is R8, R6, and I think it's R160. I use it a lot, so I thought I would try something a little bit different today, mix it up a little bit. But yeah, again, feel free, change it up as you wish. You don't have to do exactly the same as me. But yeah, I just felt like I was using that other combination quite a lot, and I felt like I would try something different and see if I liked it. And actually this combination's working quite nicely. Don't worry too much about going over the dots. I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible, but it doesn't really matter if we go over them a little bit. And just add a little bit of lighter shade, kind of on one edge of the toadstool there. Yeah, I think this colour is actually quite good. It's a bit of a softer red than my usual red combination, which is quite dark, and this is a little bit softer, more corally red. We'll put the shade on this side. Again, keeping everything fairly simple and quick and easy. Nothing kind of incredibly difficult or astounding here. It's very simple colouring, but it's effective. I think it looks good. Okay, I'm going to go back to that colourless blender and just try again, push that out again a little bit more. I just want to be careful that we don't push the red out that we've just laid down. So I'm just keeping it to those areas. Okay, I'm going to take my browns again, the BR1 and the E170, and I'm going to do this little stone, these two little stones here and the center of this flower. And I think we're going to do this flower in the same yellow combinations as well. So we'll use Y2, Y050 and Y030. And again, I'm going to add my darkest kind of around the center and blend out with my mid-tone and then my lightest just on the edges. You could do this one purple as well, but I just figured it looked more similar to the yellow flower. Okay, that green's really not disappearing for me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in with my greens over here anyway and hope for the best. Hopefully it won't be too noticeable, but don't do the same mistake as I did. Okay, there's our stem. Yeah, it's a little bit noticeable, but I don't think it's too bad. Okay, onto the stems of the mushrooms. I'm going to use, or toadstools rather, I'm going to use Y11 and E210. I'm gonna kind of like a yellowish browny shade. Good shade for mushrooms or toadstools. And those bits out, and then I'm going to use this same combination. Am I going to use the same? Yeah, I'm going to use the same. I don't really want to bring in any other colours if I can help it. So I'm going to use the same combination for the base of my snail. So kind of for his body area. Line that out. And I think I'm going to add some, I don't know if he's too wet yet. I'm going to leave him for a second. I'll add some dotting detail to him. Now it's just his shell. I kind of want to bring some shades of purple in there, but I also want it to look a bit brownish coloured. So let's try BR1 and E170 to begin with. And I'm going to add the darkest shade in first. I'm not sure if this is going to work. This is going to be a bit of an experiment, so let's see how it goes. Okay, sorry, I got a bit interrupted there. Let's carry on. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I say, try something. Oh my goodness, I've gone right outside the lines. Okay, let's not stress about that. I'm gonna try something a little bit experimental here. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna take the mid-tone purple shade at V230, and I'm gonna bring that into my snail shell. I have no idea if this is gonna look any good or not. We'll try it. It's worth a try, eh? If it doesn't work, there's no harm done. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with that E170 again and just kind of try and blend it out a little bit. It's always fun to experiment with different colours, so I'll just go back in with that purple again. I don't think it looks too bad. I think that looks okay. Alright, so what am I going to do now? I'm going to take this Y11 shade and I'm going to go back in and add some dots now that that has dried a bit. I'm just going to add some dot detail to my snail here. Just adds a little bit of texture. I'm not sure you're going to see it a great deal there. And then with that BR1, which was the darkest brown, I'm going to add some dots to my flowers and create a little bit of texture on them as well. Again, it's an added step. You don't have to do this, but it creates a fun look as well. Change things up a bit. I'm just kind of add it in the darkest areas. I'm not going to add it to the lighter areas, just the darker areas. Add a little bit more in there. And some of them will get lost in the dark areas, but you can see a little bit of it. I think it's just a little bit of fun. Okay, all that's left to do is to take my white gel pen. So I've got my white Signo Uniball here. This is the broad one, and I'm going to fill in the dots on my mushroom with this. You can use a paint pen or whatever you want. I find this the easiest. It works pretty well. You want to make them nice and white. so that they pop. Okay, while we've got that out, we're going to fix that mistake I made there. We're going to use our gel pen just to cover over where I went outside the line there, so it's not so noticeable. And then we're going to add some details to the rest of our page, trying not to smear what I've already put down. So I'm going to add some white dots to my flowers as well. Get my pen to work properly. So we're going to add, sorry if I'm bumping my camera, we're going to add the white dots all over. Just to create a little bit of interest. Sorry, I'm going to move this around a little bit so that I don't smear what I've put down in other places. My pen doesn't seem to want to come out right. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, sorry, another interruption. So I'll add some white dots to this flower as well. Why is that not working? Is it going to work? Oh my goodness, what is going on with it? I have a real love-hate relationship with gel pens. Like sometimes I get them working great, and sometimes there's this one run out. Oh no, it's working on my thumb. Let's try it. Yeah, I have a real love-hate relationship with gel pens. Sometimes they work really well for me, and then other times they don't want to work at all. I think that's a bit messy, but never mind. And we're going to add some highlight details to everything. So I'll add some to my snail's shell here. Make it look nice and shiny. Oh, this gel pen is not playing ball. I don't know why. I might have to switch it out. Let's try a different one. What else have I got? Jelly roll. Let's try a jelly roll. Okay, that's working a bit better. I don't know, yeah. Me and gel pens, we have, like I say, we have a bit of a love-hate relationship. Sometimes we work together really nicely, and other times we don't. So I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not using them right. I'll add a little bit to the stems here. Okay, I'm going to turn this around again so that I can do the petals of my flowers. I'm going to turn it right upside down. We'll start with the leaves of my flowers. I don't think you're going to see this a huge amount because it's quite a pale green colour that I've got on here anyway, but it's there. I've added some. We're going to do some on here again. You're not going to see a huge amount because the yellow is very pale, but we're going to add a little bit to the flower petals. And like I say, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference to the page, but it's something that I like to do to my pages anyway, and it just adds a little bit of something. You can see it probably more than I can see it more than you can see it on camera. I hope that makes sense. It's probably not showing up on camera much at all, but it is there. And like I say, it just adds a touch of something to the page. Add a little bit around the edge of these flower petals as well. Just a little bit of something. Okay, let's turn this around the right way and have a look at it. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to this page. Let's keep it nice and simple, and I think it's kind of cute. So there we go. That is page number 23, Storm Flowers, from R.J. Hampson's cute book, Awake. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you had fun colouring along with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.